tell me something, because, and I don't know if Kibe does this intentionally. What do you find unique about the Kibe Twitter spaces? Even beyond the content it is. I don't know if you have noticed in how they execute it, in a sense. What do you find so unique about it? I don't know if you've picked up. I'm sure, because I'm sure you're the guy who picks up some very unique things that when you give your submission, you know, I'm like, oh my goodness, I never even thought of that. Where did that come from? What do you think is unique about Kibe's Twitter spaces?
You know, Kibe's Twitter space is kind of unique in a way. First of all, it does not have the mainstream structure, and it has a mix of things. Kibe's Twitter space is like the grandfather's fireplace on internet. You know, it is like a baraza on internet. Kibe's Twitter space is like that school debating hall on some of those controversial topics online, kind of mainstreaming it in some case. And then the other thing that Kibe's Twitter spaces has done is provide room for people to ask questions or put a question mark in you for you to go and think deeper about what is happening. Some people take it wrong, like he's trying to indoctrinate something. But to me, what I see with the Kibe's Twitter spaces is that don't be contented with what you're seeing. Could there be something deeper than what you see? Can we improve it better than what we see it to be? You know, those kind of questions which you will never find on mainstream media. Or even if they're there, the time is so short. And because of the way mainstream has been segmented, it is hard to get that information. You know, you are able to listen to radio stations, but you cannot scroll through all of them for you to be able to know what is happening. But this is kind of different. You can tune in no matter the time. You will never miss out, you know, no matter the time. So I think that is the uniqueness with Kibe's Twitter spaces. What I find interesting in it is when everybody is sharing their experience, it is actually like a grandfather's fireplace online without the heat.
and to your point, I agree. Number one, it is open to address any topic, regardless of what you know. It's sort of, how do I call it, you know, there are those it's sort of taboo topics, if I may refer to them as taboo topics, or things people think they shouldn't be questioned. I mean, that's why you find we keep having recurring topics around the church, religion, God, marriage. And I remember even at first when I used to hear these topics, at first I was actually quite resistant. I was like, what the heck is this guy? And then he sometimes throws some questions. And I must say, my initial reaction is to resist. But then when I take some time back to think through it and reflect about it, I'm like, God damn, there was a point here. But much more, for me, one of the unique things I've found about his space is, as you say, when people present or rather share their experiences. One, I find, and I don't know if he does this deliberately, if he's trained around it, or if it is something innate in him, is just learned and it's natural for him. but he has the full presence of mind. You know, you'll always hear him say, hey, where are you running to?
Yeah.
And it's, you know, of course, somebody will always present a particular story or experience. And most of these are highly very personal stories from both men and women.
Yes.
But that story, before you know it, and maybe even the person was planning to just share, maybe I would say maybe 10%. It will be now they will probe him. Before you know it, that thing has taken a tangent. And it's both a combination of him and George.
Yeah.
And one thing I have to credit them is that what I'm calling having the presence of mind. You know, to sort of, it's like they blocked everything. They have clearly given that one person who is sharing their story their full attention and are able to see beyond the surface and dig further to now bring out the real story. And I guess that's where the lesson is found.
Call it seeing below the line.
Yes.
They hear the things you don't say. You know?
I don't know if these niggas have some special training. I don't know how the heck they are able to do it. But it's very interesting. Observed.
The thing I find with them, when you talk about George and Andrew, it's passion. And you know, this thing is being done without what you'd consider as boundaries, limitations. You get? So they can sync with you and even go below your sinking point to be able to pick what you don't see. You get? They hear what you've not heard, what you've not seen, which is a very powerful thing. And it's kind of also a learning point that I picked from them. When you're hearing somebody talk, you don't see them, you know, but you can be able to read. How do I say it? Reading body language without seeing them. Oh, okay, reading their expression from their voice without seeing them. Their expression from their voice. So the tone of their voice, the strength of their voice communicates more even than the words that they say. And that's how they get to catch people. You change your breath, you change your tone, you change your rhythm, and they catch you at a point when they're saying, you are lying, you're telling us the truth, and they will tell you what you're saying is real. And George does it well. George does it so well.
There's something you mentioned, and maybe you can clarify a little bit more, that people shouldn't come to Kibe spaces. I don't know, you said, is it verification or validation? Can you explain a little bit more on that?
You don't go there for validation. Go to verify. The point I said, the reason why I said that is, you know, many a times we are so convinced that what we know is the correct thing. And then you go there to put out what you know, thinking that it's so correct. Now that's when you get hit by questions that you never expected and questions that you fear to hear. You know, most especially things around religion. There are some things that if you're asked about religion, if you're not strong enough, you might box people for no good reason. But when you go with a point of saying, could my thought be correct? Then you'll never receive the harsh kind of approach, like somebody who believes that what they are saying is true, you know, because it can be true to you, but it is not the truth outside there. And I think it gives a balance to people to be mindful, and something that you mentioned, to be kind of conscious about the environment. So you don't just trample over people. You have to be conscious, because there is something more that probably the other person has than you, or they know than you do. You know, so you are awake to your surrounding. That's also something that space helps people with. So that's why I was like, with that point, don't come here for what? You don't go there to validate what you have. you verify
Verify.
because of the volume of, I think, experiences and information that people have. It can shock you. So for you not to be shocked, you rather verify rather than be sure that what you have is the right one.
I agree. I mean, it's a powerful statement that you gave, and it really encapsulated what the space is about. I mean, the key point is